Hey everyone, it's not Presley, but it's still ActOutGames. We're over here, Presley and I, at the Denver Astronomical Society monthly meeting. This is the first meeting we've come to since I did the kidney donation. So they only do one a month, and you know, just getting back into the swing of things. They've got a really cool presentation, a cool sounding presentation tonight about calculating orbit and using like time correct algorithms and the math that they were aware of at the time they calculated some of these orbits. We got over and got set up and realized we forgot the camera. So when we were about to shoot an intro real quick, I realized I had to run back to the car and grab the camera. Now I'm realizing as I'm on the way back over here that they're going to be underway doing the presentation when I walk back in. So I'm not going to be able to grab Presley to do an intro. So here's your intro, and then let's go see what's going on inside.
The eclipse classes are safe. They're designed to a certain international standard that basically reduces the light from the sun to 1/1000th of 1%, so that it's safe to look directly at the sun. Now, what you don't do is put the eclipse glasses on and then look through binoculars, because you will arc weld your eyes to the sides of your ears. But I'm trying to be serious about that. They're only made for doing what I'm doing now. But pretend these are eclipse glasses and looking at the sun just like this. It's for kind of unassisted visual observing of the sun, but with the light dimmed down to a safe level. Tonight's Astronomy Minute, and by the way, I would like to encourage those of you who might like to help out with the Astronomy Minute to step forward and volunteer for this, because I don't want to make this all the DAS president doing the Astronomy Minute at every meeting. I think it would be fun to get various members up here helping out with this. So tonight's Astronomy Minute. What's a telescope? There should be some definition there from the dictionary. Now you look at that definition from the dictionary. Let me just flip this off. I tried to copy that best I could. An instrument with lenses making distant objects appear nearer and larger. Obviously, that definition was not written by an astronomer. From the perspective of an optical telescope, of course, we know that it can be made up of lenses. It can be made up of mirrors or some combination of the two. And this definition really applies to the telescope or type of telescope standing next to the person with the pointy head in the picture there. Refracting telescopes use lenses or combination of lenses to make that distant object appear larger and bring it to a focus. Reflecting telescopes use mirrors. They're commonly called Newtonian scopes in honor of Sir Isaac Newton, who invented this particular style. The telescopes that we commonly call Dobsonians or Dobbs are in fact Newtonian scopes. They're not Dobbs. The Dobb, which is short for Dobsonian, which is named after John Dobson, who came up with the idea, is actually the type of mount that the Newtonian scope sits on. That's all. That we affectionately refer to the Newtonian scope on a Dobsonian mount as a Dobb. But that type of telescope uses mirrors. And then the third general kind of scope is a compound telescope or catadioptric telescope. This one uses a combination of lenses and mirrors. And a good example of this is the familiar Celestron and Meade Schmidt-Cassegrain scopes that people often get, because they tend to be fairly compact physically. And as you look, you can see that the light goes in on the right side to a lens, bounces off of a mirror in the back, bounces off of a smaller mirror on the back side of the lens, and then back down through a hole in the middle of that big lens out to where the eyepiece is. So those are the three main types of telescopes. And that is tonight's Astronomy Minute.
And our nearest and brightest stars actually came back to life about a week ago with some pretty interesting sunspot groups and a lot of flares over the last, maybe 4 or 5 days. And I checked on it today, and it's back to dead fish mode. But there for a while, it was actually doing something.
Okay, so that was super duper duper cool. So we got a pair of solar glasses, which is super duper, or specifically eclipse glasses, but they can be used just to look at the sun, which is super duper cool because actually, while I was in Texas and at the museum, there were 3 different solar flares going on, and they had a live broadcast of the sun, so it was super duper cool to see these. And I'm really excited to kind of take a look at the sun because you can't do that normally without like damaging your eyes a lot. So I'm super duper excited for that, and the presentation was super duper awesome. I actually took some notes down. I don't want to handle too many things at once. So yeah, it's a whole 2 pages of notes in my horrible handwriting. I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, it was super fun and a really good practice for my note taking because I definitely need to know how to do that a lot more often. I've started taking notes on various random classes at my homeschool co-op, and I think here is a really, really great practice of note taking. And yeah, it was just super duper awesome.
What was your favorite thing you learned in the presentation? You could refer to your notes.
I have to look and make sure I think what I think is actually the coolest thing. Oh, something super duper interesting that while you were getting the camera, he talked about a little bit. No, you were in the bathroom. He's talking about this. Yes, you were not here. Is that Ceres started out around the shoulder of Taurus in 1801, and in February of 1801, Ceres disappeared for a little bit, and during the observations, they couldn't find where it was, and it reappeared later in the year. I don't remember the exact month, and in, I believe, October of 1801, a paper was published on the discoveries and the observations of Ceres, which is super, I think it's pronounced Ceres? I think that's how you pronounce it, right? But yeah, it was super cool.
Gauss had 7 search ephemeris points. If you look where the green is, that's Gauss's solution. The red ones that correspond are the truth, and the black ones are the ones with dash UPMDC with those 3 ops. As you can see, point by point, the black points are a little bit closer to the red than the green ones, and yet they're both. The green ones are still quite good. And so the natural question is, why were we able to do better than Gauss now? And the only reason I can come up with is we have a better solar ephemeris model in 2016, 2017 than Gauss had 200 years ago. Other than that, Gauss did manually with log tables, as well as we were able to do.
So that was really amazing. I had a great time. And now that we're back home, we have taken the solar eclipse glasses out.
It looks like Dan's t-shirt.
It is actually, good fact, it is an eclipse. That is what the t-shirt. I just thought it was generally a white circle, and I was very confused as to why that was a t-shirt that exists, but it is an eclipse. So that's why it looks like Dan's t-shirt.
They're Dan info glasses.
Yeah, and I can't see anything with them because I'm not looking directly at the sun. So not even staring directly at a light.
Is it nice to be going back to the Denver Astro?
Yeah, it's really nice. And I'm very, very excited to keep going and keep learning new things about the stars that are out there. So the link in the doobly-doo to where you can check them out at denverastro.org. But yeah, if you are in the Denver area, I'd highly recommend checking them out. You can be a guest at one of the meetings, and they host open houses, which is where I got my start, where they have a bunch of telescopes out, and you can look around. Some of the telescopes you can look around in, and you can look at other people's telescopes who kind of have them pointing at things. And that was the first and only time I've seen Saturn's rings, which was amazing. I can't stress how cool that was, and that's where I really got it. That's a good word. Where I really got a huge, big interest in astronomy, because I already had an interest in astronomy and I thought it was super cool. But that was kind of the rocketing point when we joined the society.
Was that a pun?
It was kind of a pun. My brain makes puns without me knowing it. But it was awesome, and I'd highly recommend checking it out. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'd see you tomorrow. Bye!